It's preparing to live stream our meeting. It's preparing to live stream our meeting.
My end says it's now streaming.
We're live.
We're good?
Yes.
Welcome to the division draw for the 39th AMTA National Championship. My name is Diane Michalak, and I am the National Tabulation Director. Before we start the draw, I have a couple of announcements. First, case changes are expected to be released the week of April 1st. There are still scrimmage rooms available at the Hilton and at Loyola. Please contact the hosts to reserve those. Please make sure that you fill out the Google form with the names of any competitors seeking to enter the Daily Center as soon as possible. And after the draw, I will send invitations for your divisions and school managers, so please have your official contact accept that invitation. For those of you not familiar with the draw, let me explain how this will work. If you have the earned bid list pulled up on the AMTA website, that can be helpful to follow along. The teams are ranked by TPR 1 through 48. We divide the teams into groups of 4. So the first group will be 1 through 4, the second 5 through 9, or 5 through 8 rather, and then 9 through 12, and so on. Among those groups, we will randomly draw 2 teams into each division. So for example, the first team would go to Division 1, the second to Division 2, the third to Division 1, and the fourth to Division 2. The only caveat to that is if there is an A and a B team at the national championship, the B team cannot be in the same division as its A team, and we'll deal with that when it comes up. This year, the divisions will be named the Clarence Darrow Division and the Myra Bradwell Division. Clarence Darrow was an American lawyer who became famous in the 19th century for high-profile representations of trade union causes, and in the 20th century for several criminal matters, including the Leopold and Loeb murder trial and the Scopes monkey trial, and he was a leading member of the American Civil Liberties Union. Clarence Darrow moved to Chicago in 1888. He worked in the City of Chicago Law Department for 2 years. He resigned from there, took a position as a lawyer at the Chicago and Northwestern Railway Company, and continued to practice criminal and civil law in Chicago thereafter. He is considered by some legal analysts and lawyers to be the greatest lawyer of the 20th century. He was posthumously inducted into the Trial Lawyer Hall of Fame. Myra Bradwell was an American publisher and political activist. She attempted in 1869 to become the first woman admitted to the Illinois bar to practice law, but was denied admission by the Illinois Supreme Court in 1870 and the United States Supreme Court in 1873 in rulings upholding a separate women's sphere. Bradwell had founded and published Chicago Legal News from 1868, reporting on the law, and continued that work. Meanwhile, influenced by her case, in 1872, the Illinois legislature passed a state law prohibiting gender discrimination in admission to any occupation or profession, with the exception of the military. In 1890, the Illinois Supreme Court, on its own motion, in a gesture to honor her, granted Bradwell admission to the Illinois bar, and the United States Supreme Court followed suit 2 years later. In 1994, Myra Bradwell was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame. To begin the draw, the first thing we're going to do is flip a coin to determine which division the first team will be drawn into. Heads will be the Darrow division, tails will be the Bradwell division. So it stays on the desk, and it is tails, so the first team will go into the Bradwell division. Our first group is 1 through 4. Shuffle the cards here. And our first team into the Bradwell division is team 1007, Harvard. The next team going into the Darrow division is team 1679, UCLA A. Next into the Bradwell division is team 1123, Virginia A, which leaves team 1565, Chicago A, in the Darrow division. Our next group is group 2, which is teams 5 through 8 on the TPR earned bid list. Shuffle these up. And the first team going into the Bradwell division is team 1228, Patrick Henry. Going into the Darrow division is team 1038, Hillsdale. Into the Bradwell division, team 1041, Yale. Leaving 1560, UC Irvine in the Darrow division. Group 9 through 12 has a B team in it. It is UCLA B. Since UCLA A is in the Darrow division, B will be assigned to the Bradwell division. So our next team will be going into the Darrow division. And that is team 1113, Georgia. Going into the Bradwell division is team 1573, Florida. Leaving team 1360, Georgetown in the Darrow division. Next up are 13 through 16. I got thicker cards this year, so I couldn't see through them when I wrote nice and big so you guys could see them, and now I can't shuffle them. All right, first team in the Bradwell division, team 1222, Emory. Into the Darrow division, team 1187, Boston University. Heading to the Bradwell division, 1160, Georgia Tech. Leaving 1084, Michigan in the Darrow division. Group 5, teams 17 through 20. Team 1117, Ohio State, is heading to the Bradwell division. Team 1066, Texas, to the Darrow division. Next up in Bradwell, team 1056, Rhodes A. Leaving 1373, Washington University in St. Louis in the Darrow division. Group 6 has a B team. This is 21 through 24. Our B team is Chicago B. Since Chicago A is in the Darrow division, Chicago B will be heading to the Bradwell division. Means our next card drawn will be going to the Darrow division. That team is team 1663, University of California, Santa Barbara. Heading to Bradwell. Team 1088, Fordham Lincoln Center. Leaving 1211 Brown at the Darrow division. Group 7, which is teams 25 through 28. Going to the Bradwell division is team 1284, University of Pennsylvania. Heading to the Darrow division is 1642, University of Southern California A. Heading to the Bradwell division, 1182, Indiana. Heading to the Darrow division, team 1094, UMBC. Our next group is teams 29 through 32. All right, sticking together again. All right. First up, team 1244, Michigan State, heading to the Bradwell division. Team 1353 to the Darrow division. That would be the University of Iowa. 1267 Dartmouth, heading to the Bradwell division. And 1547 Penn State to the Darrow division. Our next group are teams 33 through 36. And our first team heading over to Bradwell is team 1258, William and Mary. Heading over to Darrow, 1543, Princeton A. Heading over to Bradwell, 1232, University of Oregon. Leaving 10-18, McAllister in the Darrow division. All right, Group 10 has a B team in it. It is Rhodes B. Rhodes A is in Bradwell, so Rhodes B will be heading to the Darrow division. So our first team drawn will go to Bradwell. And that team is team 1241, Drake. Since Rhodes went to Darrow, our next team is also going to Bradwell. And that team is team 1486, Columbia. And that leaves 1135, Alabama in the Darrow division. Our next group, 41 through 44, has a B team in it, which is Virginia B. Virginia A is in Bradwell. So Virginia B is heading to Darrow. So our first card drawn will be going to Bradwell. That is team 1490, Georgia State. Since Virginia B went to Darrow, our next team is going to Bradwell as well. And that is team 1465, Wellesley. And that sends Texas, University of Texas at Dallas, team 1079 to Darrow. Our last group has two B teams in it. USC B, since A is in Darrow, B is going to Bradwell. And Princeton B, and again, A is in Darrow, so B is heading to Bradwell. That would leave these last two teams heading to Darrow, and that is 1164 Toronto and 1281 University of Dayton. All right, that concludes our draw fun for the evening. So you guys can get your scrimmage partners, contact the host to reserve your scrimmage room, and good luck to all of our competitors.